Issues and Insights. I'm Gina Ryan, Director of Hardin County Educational and Community Television. Today we have members of the Hardin County government, and we're going to talk everything about trash and landfill, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Joining me is Stephanie Given, and we've got a new person that we're going to introduce too. But Stephanie, before we get started, tell our audience your title, what your role is, and a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Givens. I'm the Hardin County Public Works Solid Waste Director. I've been at that department there for about 11 and a half years and about 15 years or so with Hardin County government. So my department handles everything with the landfill, the curbside pickup at your residence, also all the recycling efforts that we do here in the county. Lots of free events that we put on every year for everybody to use.
Jonathan, tell us about yourself. You look very young, like you just stepped out of high school.
Well, you know, I wish that were true, but unfortunately, I had been out of high school for the past about 10 or so years. I graduated in 2012 from John Hardin High School, and after John Hardin High School, I went on to HCEC-TV to get my general education requirements, and then from there, I went to U of L, where I got my communications degree. And after, getting my communications degree, I started at the Jefferson County Clerk's Office, where I was serving as the front desk worker in the Motor Vehicles Division. And then from there, I just got promoted to the Communications Division with the same organization there. From there, I've been working for the past 5 years, doing community outreach events and public relations. And then that brings me here today, where I'm the new Solid Waste Support Coordinator for the Hardin County Solid Waste Department. And I've always been passionate about sustainability and making sure the community is aware of the services that their community is providing them, and that they're up to date on those services that they can benefit from. And but yeah, I'm very excited to be here, and I hope that I can carry forward the Solid Waste Department and make sure that the Hardin County residents are utilizing the valuable resources that our department's providing them.
Mm-hmm. I just have to say this. Go U of L. I'm a 40-year-old, not a 40-year-old, but I got my communications degree from U of L.
Really? Okay.
Over 40 years ago.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah, good cards.
Alumni there.
Good cards. Yes. Stephanie, explain the role of what you do for the county. I mean, it's got a lot of tentacles or legs. So what is it, and how's that role to the community?
So honestly, we really kind of dabble in a lot of different places. Anything to do with recycling and, like I said, the trash and the landfill. I also have code enforcement underneath me as well. So, people that are struggling, trying to help keep their properties clean, and you want to have good relations with your neighbor, and sometimes that can cause an issue or something there. So we have a code enforcement officer, and he helps keep the community clean. I also take care of the litter abatement program that we have in the county. So I partner with the detention center, and Big Josh there, he sends out litter crews every day, and they go out and pick up litter on the side of the roadways, and those are all, we try to apply grant funding to help, subsidize that program to keep that going. I would like to say that we've been picking up so much trash that there's not much left to get, but that's unfortunately not the case. So, but we dabble in a lot of different areas.
I was going to say, yeah, we've got trash is trash. And
Yes.
Try to get rid of it. So, in your role, Jonathan, what do you promote in regards to that?
Yeah, so my role is primarily supporting Stephanie here and just taking on some of those everyday tasks administratively, just so she can alleviate some of her time and energy to go out and secure grant funding and just bigger and better things that helps improve the department, and all on behalf of Hardin County citizens. And so, but on the side of that, I kind of help advise her on, certain events that we could attend, and I might even be out there, giving presentations or making my rounds around Hardin County to the trailers to making sure that they're on the up and up and they're looking good. So
I know one time back in the fall, I believe the trailer up on Peterson.
Peterson.
Kind of collapsed, or the back end collapsed, and I went by that, and I'm like, oh my goodness. all the wonderful recycling people had turned in was kind of out. And so those things I'm sure you deal with too.
Yes, that's a very busy location there at the E-Town Farmers Market. So, I mean, those trailers, and people don't realize that. That's one of the things that I like to express when I am out in the public is a lot of times people think that those trailers are, you know, they're like, well, you're not emptying them enough and so forth and so on. And I'm like, that location, those trailers, there's usually 3 to 4 trailers there, and it gets emptied anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I had no idea it was
Yes.
that fast. Yes.
Yes.
Wow. And those 3 trailers, what type of recycling items do you have in those 3?
So all 3 of those trailers, they'll take basically the same thing. They're just set up a little differently. So we have one trailer there that is for cardboard only. And it's supposed to be for wheelchair accessible, so you don't have to go up the stairs. That's what the 2 trailers at the dock are for, wheelchair accessible or handicap accessible. The trailer that sits right next to that is basically just a smaller version of the ones that sit at the stairs. It takes all of the same types of items, cardboard, plastics number 1 and 2, aluminum and steel cans, paper, shredded paper, colored paper, but they only have boxes on one side of that trailer. And again, it's so in case somebody is on a walker or in a wheelchair or, you know, just on crutches, then they can still get through there and have plenty of room.
Now, I know before people put those items in, they should break down the boxes
They should, absolutely, flatten the boxes.
and empty fluids that's
Absolutely.
in bottles or cans or whatever.
Yes.
What else do people
Well, we do prefer for everybody to take their lids off of anything that they're putting in there plastic-wise. And the thing for that is because when the trailers get emptied and they're processed, and the people doing that is compacting that down and making a bale out of that stuff, when it gets pressurized and compacted down, those bottle caps, they will like shoot off. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of a safety risk. So that's why we constantly try to influence people to say, you know, please take the caps off, remove the caps. We don't want the caps.
That sounds like a comedy sketch.
It can be, but it can be a little dangerous at the same time. So,
Killed with a bottle cap.
yes.
Plastic. Like I mentioned, that the bottom fell out of one, or it kind of leaned forward. How does that affect? I'm assuming you don't want anyone around that until
No.
it is fixed.
Right.
And then I guess it can cause people to know where the other locations are. So where are those locations at?
So we actually have 7 total locations.
Which is
the
great.
farmers market is the busiest one and the biggest one. We did used to have one for years. We had one on Ring Road there at Central Hardin Fire Department, but we're no longer there. But we did move that trailer. It is now located in a lot that is directly across the street from Mr. Gaddy's in E-Town.
Oh, yeah.
So that way we still can service the people on that end of the county as well. We have that location across from Mr. Gaddy's. We have the farmers market. We have one in Sonora. We have one,
Where's
I think
that?
that one's at the firehouse in Sonora. We have one in Glendale at the old school there. I think that was, trying to think of the name of that school that was there.
Well, I mean, Sonora and Glendale and Upton all had their elementary to high school.
It was the elementary school there. It's located in the back of that elementary school. We have one at Vine Grove, which is just off a little bit away from the railroad tracks there in the city area.
It's near that painted caboose, isn't it?
It was. Now it's just on the other side there behind the building.
Okay, great.
So, because that lot was not enough room there for people to get in and turn around and then customers to the businesses of the square there. So, we moved that a little bit around. We put one out at West 84 Firehouse out off of Sonora Hardin Springs Road. We have one, let's see, we did Sonora and Glendale and Vine Grove and Farmers Market and E-Town. We have one in Radcliffe at the Radcliffe Public Works Department now. So we just entered that one just recently. I think that was our newest one.
I think it's great that people are using the idea of recycling.
Yes.
And with Josh's group going around now, does the the inmates help in terms of when they, is any separation taking place or recycling from what they gather off the sides of the road?
Some.
Okay.
Some.
That's what
You know, of course, unfortunately, they pick up a lot of tires, so we do, that gets processed differently. But most of the plastics and stuff like that will just go with the regular trash that's found on the side of the road.
Now, do they stick to certain roads?
They do not. They do county roads and state roads. They come in and do city roads. If the city is having several complaints and they don't have anybody that can go out, then he sends them out there too. So he does a lot of cleanups with like the festivals and the parades and stuff that go on throughout town. So all of that is picked up within that roadside trash.
It's still great that they do that. And,
Yes.
And people need to also be aware when they do see that vehicle
Yes.
that they need to
Slow down. Be careful. Yes. Take a look.
Yeah. And the best thing is, do not throw stuff out your windows.
That would be
Under
ideal.
cars. Yes, that's that big education component, and you would think that we've hammered that home numerous times. But
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You mentioned you have a lot of special events. So how do those get established, and what's coming up?
So, well, they get established typically by grants.
Okay.
I apply for a lot of grants to help keep these programs up and running. If we, as a county, did not have the grant funds, we would not be able to continue these programs that we have.
Explain how the grants pay for this. How's the grant funding used?
So, all of our free programs that we do, most of the time, I can get a grant that will cover it almost 100%. There are some grants that we have to do match dollars on, and it depends on what the grant is, on how we do those match dollars. Like, I'll give you an example, the Household Hazardous Waste event. We apply for a grant for that. That grant specifically will tell you what it will pay for and what it will not. One of the things that it does not cover is latex paint.
Oh,
It covers oil-based paint, but not latex paint. We don't want to section that off from our community because most people a lot of times won't know the difference between one or the other, and they just bring them anyway because they think it's paint, we're going to get rid of it.
Right.
We don't want to turn anybody away when it comes to that. So when we process all of that latex paint and I get that invoice from the vendor that takes care of us for that event, the county has to pay for that bill itself. So that comes out of your tax dollars to basically help provide that service. And we do quite a bit of latex paint when we have that event. So, but the grant will pay for pretty much everything but that part of it. And we still use, be able to take
some of those other items, those household items, what are they besides paint?
Oh Lord, we have lots of them. There's basically any kind of free-flowing liquid, whether it's insecticides, pesticides, oil, pool chemicals, chlorine tablets, any kind of cleaning chemical, any of that, anything.
I was going to say oil, transmission fluid, anything.
All of that, all
of
the automotive fluids and stuff. Yes, yes.
You mentioned tires off the side of the road. Of course, that's a solid item. Do you have a local recycling individual that takes those on that you don't have to pay such a high price for?
Well, they're not a local. They're kind of local. They're out of Louisville. But once we get those tires on the side of the road, again, we have to cart those up to Louisville to have them recycled there. And that is a grant that helps fund that to pay to get rid of those tires. The downside is most of these grants are state funded, so there's only so much dollars you can get, and we may collect way more than what that pays for, and then again that has to come out of our regular budget cycle. Yeah.
So we talked about hazardous things you have in your household and such, mostly liquids. What about e-scrap? What is that, and when do we have those?
So e-scrap is everything pretty much electronic. If you can plug it in, it's considered electronic. If it's DVDs, if it's VHSs, if it's records, if it's cassettes, all of that type of stuff that goes into something electronic, those can also be recycled during that time as well.
I just see all these wonderful albums, and it's like going into a dumpster.
Yeah, we don't get very many albums and records, thank goodness, because there's a lot of people still collecting those. But it is, there are times where I've had people bring a whole trunk full of VHS tapes.
Oh, yes.
So, that's not uncommon. And, you know, people don't think of that being e-scrap, but that is considered e-scrap and something we take.
And those devices too.
Absolutely.
The
The
things that-
DVD players and the VHS players, yes, VCRs and stuff of that nature, yes. Cameras, we do get a lot of cameras. I think one year, as crazy as it sounds, and I'm kind of telling my age right now, but we got a guy that came in and he had several boom boxes, you know, from back in the day with cassette players in them, and we have people come with microphones and things of that nature too, Xboxes and old iPads and things. Yeah, we get all those types of things as well.
What about cell phones?
Yep, we take cell phones too.
Now, if they give the cell phones to you, can those then again possibly be turned into like one of our shelters, or
At that
are you
particular
able to?
event, we do not.
Okay.
However, we do take cell phones and rechargeable batteries in our office on regular day. Like if it's a business day, you can bring those things to the county government building to our department and turn those in, and it's still free of cost. And then those types of phones and those rechargeable batteries will go into the things like that.
Where does the county and the larger cities meet and share? It's a little bit of there. Is there a division of trash responsibilities?
Well, we have a division of solid waste department out of the state in Frankfurt.
Yeah. I guess my question is, when does E-Town take care of their solid waste and Radcliffe take care of their solid waste? Are there boundaries?
So as far as like residential curbside pickup, so each city is a little different. The city of E-Town, they're not mandatory service pickup. So if you live inside the city limits, you can decide on who you want to have for your garbage service.
Okay.
If you live in the city limits of Radcliffe, they have, I believe, Green River Waste now. So they can only choose Green River Waste for their curbside pickup. But if you live in the unincorporated area, not only is it mandatory for you to have that service, you can only have that service with our contracted vendor, which is Platform Waste Services.
How does the weather affect pickup?
It can definitely cause issues. You know, one thing I like to try and remind people and help educate people is if the county buildings are closed, if the landfill is closed, if there's no school, you know, the mill's probably not going to be running, then we're not going to be running either. Even though, you know, you may have took that can out to that curb and let it sit out there, you know, people don't understand these garbage trucks, whether they're full or they're not, they slide so much easier and quicker than any other type of vehicle. So we just can't, the hauler is not going to take the chances of having trucks off in ditches and turning over, because that's the biggest thing is just a little bit of them going off the edge of the road, they actually turn over on their sides. It's not that they just slide into the ditch and we can pull them out with a wrecker. They're actually turned over on their side. So they won't take that chance, and I wouldn't want them to take that chance.
No. So. And the other thing is, you know, if it is impacted by snow, a lot of times you can't move it.
Right.
And you've
Right.
got that build up, and of course when the trucks come and push all the snow off the road into your driveway, and it causes those trash cans to even be more impacted by that.
Yes.
Now, logically, I understand all that,
Right.
but people in the community probably not as much.
No, we do get people that are upset when the trash don't run, which is understandable. I mean, you've got it all piled up there and you want it to disappear, and we want to come and get it, but we do have to put the safety, you know, at first for all of their employees as well. You know, and that's what I try to explain to people. You know, we will try and get out there as quickly as possible and as soon as we can, but if a school bus is not going to go down there with your children or your grandchildren in it, we don't want our guys in the garbage trucks either, because it's just as unsafe.
Definitely. Now, if individuals had things like furniture
Yes.
or larger items,
Yes.
you know, what do you advise people to do?
So if they live in the county, in the unincorporated area, they can actually reach out to the waste hauler, and they are allowed to have 3 bulky type items picked up a month for free.
Oh, okay.
So they just have to schedule that in, because depending on what type of item it is whether or not they can pick it up with a garbage truck or they have to have a special truck to come and get it. So they all have to be scheduled. But if you know, if you have a mattress you need to get rid of or a recliner to get rid of, absolutely call the waste hauler and talk to them and let them know what you have, and they'll put you on a schedule and tell you when that it needs to go out.
So 3 of those a month
Yes.
in terms of getting those out.
Yes.
All right. That doesn't include things like refrigerators or stoves.
No, no. And again, you know, one thing I've kind of been helping train Jonathan on to be able to answer a lot of these same types of questions as well. There's a lot of times where we have avenues for people to get rid of stuff throughout the year and not wait for special type of events that we do. If they just reach out to our office, then we can kind of instruct them on where their next step is or what their next call needs to be and let them know where they can get rid of those things and how they can get rid of those things. So, yes.
You've got some colorful flyers there.
We do. I'm going to let Jonathan kind of tell you a little bit about that. These are all of our special events that we have confirmed dates on for 2025.
Oh,
so,
great.
yeah, these are pretty important to us because some of them, like our tire one, it only comes around every 3 years. So the rest of them we do yearly, but the tire collection one that we're getting ready to do here soon is only every 3 years. So it's very important to get those tires to us when we do
and
this
when
event.
you get your tires exchanged, usually they charge you a fee.
Yes.
Because it is hard to get rid of
It
tires.
is very hard, very hard. So I'm going to let Jonathan talk about all of these special events.
Yes. So the first event we have coming up is the 2025 Waste Tire event, 100% free to the community. That's happening on March 27th and 28th.
That's just a couple of weeks away.
That's right,
Yes.
yep, and 29th. So those times for those dates are 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the 27th and 28th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on March 29th.
Okay. We'll put those dates and times in front. Is that also located electronically on
That's
your
correct,
website?
yes, on our website.
Okay, can you hold that up? And then
Yes.
is it out and about in the community? People might be able to see that. Just a
Yes, we are
reminder.
advertising for that. We have banners up at our recycling locations, and we have big digital LED signs that we put all throughout the city areas. And that event's going to actually be at the old landfill off of Springfield Road.
Okay.
So, and all that information, again, is on the flyer. So if they call in or go to our website, they'll be able to see everything that Jonathan's talking about here.
Okay, great. All right.
Yeah, so our next event coming up is on May 10th, 2025 this year between 8 and 2 p.m. This event is the e-scrap recycling event. This event is primarily for items that you would consider electronic, like computers, printers, scanners, copiers, monitors, cell phones, everything else, like in that kind of arena. But what makes this event special from the previous year is that we are now accepting televisions and monitors.
Oh, wow.
Last year we weren't able to do that, so
Yes, that's amazing.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
said the magic word right there.
Yes.
Yeah, that is great.
yeah, so that's very exciting for this year. So we
Now,
hope
where do
that
they take those items?
This is going to be at AGC
Oh,
over
okay,
on
normally
Highway
do.
62. Yeah, it's the same location it's been for several years. So that's a partnership with AGC that we do.
Right. That's great, too.
Yes, and after this event, we have an August 9th event from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is the Household Hazardous Waste and Prescription and Drug Disposal event. This is going to be at Matulsa at 750 North Black Branch Road in E-Town. This event is primarily for, your liquid hazardous waste materials, laying around your household, like ammonias, pool chemicals, solvents, smoke detectors, your batteries, your bleaches, so stuff like that. So
And you said medication.
that's correct, yeah,
Okay,
medications.
so any outdated or old medication that another family member may have taken
Yes.
that's 5 years old, you need to get rid of that.
This event's
that
for
way.
you.
Yes.
Yep, that's
The
correct.
And
only
really-
thing they're not taking is any type of needles or syringes. We won't take any of that. But any liquid medicine or pill format or any other type, inhalers, all of that, they'll take it at that time.
Okay. And it is important to get rid of that medication.
Yes.
You do not want anything like that in your home where someone small, like
Yes.
a child or something. So, yeah, very important.
And we've heard several things. Like some people, they're like, God, just throw it in the trash. It's not no big deal. And I'm like, that's not good because then it goes into the soil.
That's right.
So,
And then it
and,
goes
you know,
into the well.
water.
Yeah.
And yes,
That
yes.
whole thing. And even though we have a great water treatment plant, it's still,
It's, yes.
don't put the chemicals in.
Right, right.
And in the mix of all of these events, we actually have a monthly free shred day. This event is every first working day of the month, with the next upcoming one on April 1st. And this event really is just to help folks in the community shred important documents that are kind of more personal. And this is really a great event for folks to feel that, you know, their information isn't just laying out there.
Now, are you limited by the number of boxes that you bring of items?
They get a bag. So if they come to the county government building and they get a secure bag, because it's a bag that can be sealed up and you can't see through it.
Okay.
And we provide them the bag. It's one per household per month. And when they drop it off at the county road department, when we do the event, then they can pick up another bag right there if they still have more stuff.
And that would also include like credit cards or those things
Yes.
you get in the mail that you don't, that has your name but you haven't subscribed to. That's
Yes.
right. So really
And we actually, as they're doing that shredding event, if you want to see your stuff shredded before you leave, they will do that right in front of your eyes, so you can know for sure that it went through the machine and everything is done and completed.
That's cool.
If you are a small business and you have just a couple of bags, you know, a month or whatever, call in to us, talk to us about that. We can try and set that up for you special. We also have forms in case you need to provide a form that says that we're certifying that these documents were shredded. We have those forms as well. So.
Okay. And what's the one right there?
Well, this is just really a flyer for our platform waste bulk items pickup. You can find this on our website. So just head over to HCEC-TV.org and then you'll find this flyer. And it's just an easy way for folks to look at and see what items that they do accept and get the best contact information for them.
Awesome.
And we have one more here. It's our free dump day or free landfill day. The next upcoming one is on May 31st from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then we have another one this year on September 6th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I know with all the flyers and the dates and things, it's like you do have something available every month.
That's right.
Almost, yes.
Every month.
Yeah.
That's great. Quickly, how do people get additional information, Jonathan, if they want to know what's going on and where to get it?
That's right. So we have two ways that folks can primarily get more information about all of the events that we're providing to the community, especially free ones. The first option is probably the most convenient. It's just by texting Hardin County, 2 words, at 270-951-0951. And once they do that, they're just automatically signed up for notifications regarding the solid waste department or even Hardin County government as a whole. But the next one is the most typical, is just heading over to the Hardin County government website at hcky.org and then just navigating to the solid waste department, and you'll just be given all the updated information about upcoming events or what they need to do to dispose of any items that they're issued.
Great. Well, great job coming in. Thank you so much for sharing all the wonderful information. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much.
Go Bulldogs, John Hardin Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yes.
Okay, and community, just take an extra effort to make sure your trash is picked up and that you're good citizens. So thank you all for joining us today on Issues and Insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.